If you've spent months or years logging miles on the treadmill and your belly still won't budge, you're about to hear the one shift that changes everything. Large, long-running cardiology data found that people doing hours of cardio each week lost almost no more belly fat than those who made a simple change to how they ate. Yet the diet shift group reduced the most dangerous abdominal fat by a striking margin. I'm talking about visceral fat, the kind that wraps your organs. And here's the twist. The diet shift group didn't add extra workouts. Zero. Today I'll walk you through 7 specific steps, ranked from helpful to non-negotiable, that surgeons often ask patients to use before major procedures because they work quickly and safely. When these steps are combined, especially the number 1 step, waistlines can shrink dramatically in roughly a month. The top step alone? Almost half the results. You'll see why it's especially powerful for those of us over 60. I'll also show you how to stack these steps without feeling hungry or giving up the foods you love. Ready? Let's begin. Before we dive into the how, a quick, clear picture of the why. Visceral fat isn't just about snug waistbands. It's metabolically active tissue. It pumps out signals that can nudge blood sugar up and keep inflammation simmering. That's why targeted nutrition outperforms marathon cardio sessions for abdominal fat. What, when, and how we eat directly affects the hormones that decide whether we store or release fat. Don't get me wrong, movement is fantastic for heart health, mood, and longevity. But if your goal is a smaller waist and safer surgery, food timing and composition carry outsized weight. Today's plan is built for a 50-plus body, gentle on joints, realistic for busy lives, and grounded in habits you can keep. We'll go from good to essential, and I'll flag common roadblocks like nighttime hunger, social dinners, and muscle loss, so you can glide past them. Keep an ear out for step 1. It's the linchpin, especially if you're over 60. Step 7 is all about when you eat, not just what you eat. After 60, our bodies respond differently to identical meals depending on the clock. Earlier in the day, we tend to handle carbs and insulin changes more gracefully. Later at night, that response gets louder, and your body's message sounds like store. You can leverage this without counting a single calorie by bringing your last meal earlier. Aim to finish dinner at least 3 hours before bed, think 6 or 7 p.m. for many of us, and make breakfast or lunch the heavier meal that does the heavy lifting. Picture your metabolism like a campfire. Put the biggest logs on when the blaze is bright, not on fading embers. A practical start. If you normally eat at 8 p.m., slide that to 7 for a week, then to 6:30. Keep dinner simpler and lighter. Save the heartier dishes for midday. This small shift alone eases late-night insulin spikes and helps fat stores unlock overnight. Next, we'll add a nutrient that quietly reshapes hunger, hormones, and the gut itself. Step 6. Soluble fiber. This is not the roughage that just passes through. Soluble fiber turns into a soft gel in your gut, slowing digestion in a friendly way, smoothing blood sugar curves, and feeding the helpful bacteria that produce short-chain fatty acids, tiny messengers that tell the liver to make less new fat and the brain that you're comfortably full. Over time, that adds up to inches where it matters. Simple wins: oats, barley, lentils, beans, chia, ground flax, psyllium husk, apples, citrus, and carrots. A realistic target for most adults is to work toward 20-30 grams of soluble rich fiber daily, spread across meals. Try steel-cut oats with ground flax and berries for breakfast. At lunch, add half a cup of beans or lentils to a salad or soup. Snack on an apple or a small portion of hummus with vegetables. At dinner, pile on non-starchy vegetables and include a scoop of a bean-based side or a spoon or 2 of chia pudding. The key is consistency across the day, not a single hero salad. In a moment, I'll show you how to stop guessing and start knowing what's on your plate without turning eating into homework. Here's a gentle truth. Timing tricks and fiber wins only work if you have a rough sense of what's actually on your plate. You don't need to weigh every crumb, but a simple, low-stress system keeps you from accidentally slipping past your needs. 3 options I love for a 50-plus lifestyle. The hand method, protein the size of your palm, fiber-rich carbs like beans or fruit cupped in your hand, fat the size of your thumb. The half-plate rule, half non-starchy vegetables, a quarter protein, a quarter high-fiber carbs, and a quick journal that circles only 3 things: protein, fiber, and the time you ate. If you prefer a bit more structure, keep a short list of your go-to meals with their approximate protein and fiber numbers. No math each day, just mix and match. For packaged foods, glance at the label. Aim for at least 4 to 5 grams of fiber per serving and watch the added sugars line. This light dashboard approach pairs perfectly with our next step, which targets a hidden reason some bellies stay stubborn even when you're doing everything right. Step 5. Dial down quiet chronic inflammation. This isn't about villainizing food. It's about noticing which choices keep your internal alarm system humming. When inflammation stays elevated, your body receives a hold on to fat signal more often, especially around the middle. What should you watch for? Heavily refined seed oils in ultra-processed foods, added sugars, ultra-refined grains, and for some, certain dairy choices. Practical swaps make a real difference. For cooking, choose olive or avocado oil and limit frequent deep-fried items. For grains, trade white bread and pasta for intact whole grains. Or try a few grain-light weeks anchored in vegetables, beans, and protein to see how you feel. Pick fermented dairy like plain yogurt or kefir if you do well with dairy. If not, explore lactose-free or skip it. Scan ingredient lists for sugar, corn syrup, or long strings of O's. Build more meals at home where you control the pan. After a couple of weeks of these swaps, many people notice steadier energy, less bloating, and a softer waistline. Up next, a cellular fix that defends your muscles, the very tissue that keeps your metabolism young. Step 4. Spread your protein across the day. Most older adults undereat protein at breakfast, nibble some at lunch, and then stack it up at dinner. That pattern allows muscle to break down during your most active hours, and it's a problem because muscle is your 24/7 calorie-burning engine and your fall prevention insurance. A simple rule that works well for many: aim for roughly 25-35 grams of protein at each of 3 meals, enough to turn on muscle maintenance. Example breakfasts: 2 eggs plus Greek yogurt with berries and walnuts, or cottage cheese with pineapple and chia, or a smoothie with protein powder, spinach, and ground flax. Lunch: grilled salmon on a bean and veggie salad, or turkey chili, or tofu stir-fry with mixed vegetables. Dinner: lean beef with roasted Brussels sprouts and a side of lentils, or shrimp with a big Mediterranean salad. If appetite is light in the morning, start with a smaller, protein-forward option and build up. Pairing protein with soluble fiber keeps you fuller and steadies blood sugar. In a moment, we'll enter the top 3 steps, the ones that retrain how your body chooses between burning sugar or fat. Step 3. Simple carbohydrate cycling to restore metabolic flexibility. Younger bodies can flip between burning carbohydrates and fat more easily. After 60, that switch can get sticky. Cycling, not eliminating, carbs helps loosen it. Here's a gentle pattern many find sustainable. 2 days of moderate carbs, 1 day of lower carbs. Repeat. On moderate days, include whole food carbs at each meal. Think oats or berries at breakfast, beans or intact grains at lunch, fruit and root vegetables at dinner. On lower carb days, keep carbs mostly to vegetables and a small portion of fruit, while increasing healthy fats like avocado, olive oil, nuts, and seeds to stay satisfied. Anchor both types of days with steady protein and plenty of non-starchy vegetables. If you track numbers, moderate might look like 100-150 grams of carbs. Lower might look like 40-70, individualized to your needs. If you don't track, use visual cues. Moderate days include a fist-sized serving of fiber-rich carbs at 2 or 3 meals. Lower days include one small fist at one meal. This ebb and flow helps your body remember how to tap into stored fat without tanking energy or mood. Next, we'll flip on a hormone that quietly accelerates belly fat loss. Step 2. Support adiponectin, the underappreciated hormone that encourages fat cells to let go and muscles to burn that fuel. Adiponectin levels tend to drift downward with age and higher abdominal fat. The good news? Your daily choices nudge it upward. Foods rich in magnesium, like pumpkin seeds, almonds, leafy greens, beans, and dark chocolate, are associated with healthier adiponectin levels. Omega-3 fats from salmon, sardines, mackerel, trout, or a quality fish oil supplement can help, as can extra virgin olive oil used liberally on salads and vegetables. Consistent, moderate activity, especially walking after meals, and restorative sleep also support this pathway. A simple daily rhythm. Add a tablespoon of pumpkin seeds to breakfast, use olive oil on lunch and dinner salads, eat fatty fish 2 to 3 times per week, and relax with a square of 70% dark chocolate. Stack that with the fiber and carb cycling steps, and you've created a metabolic environment where the midsection starts cooperating. If this is helping, take a moment to subscribe to Senior Vitality Pro and tell me your age or where you're watching from in the comments. I read them, and I shape future topics around your needs. Step 1. Time-restricted eating with an earlier eating window. Many people try a 16.8 schedule, 16 hours fasting, 8 hours eating, but the magic for a 50-plus body is aligning that window with your body clock. A practical template. Have your first meal within about an hour of waking, finish eating in the early afternoon, and leave the late evening to true rest. For example, if you wake at 7 a.m., eat around 8, enjoy lunch as your biggest meal around noon, and close your window by 3-4 p.m. If that's too early for your lifestyle, shift it modestly earlier than your usual pattern and keep dinner light. During the fasting hours, water, unsweetened tea, and black coffee are fine for most. Expect a 3 to 5 day adjustment as hunger hormones recalibrate. Most people settle into a clear, steady energy. Important notes: if you take medications affected by meals or manage blood sugar conditions, coordinate with your clinician before changing timing. Pair this step with steps 2 through 7, and you've stacked the deck heavily in your favor. In a moment, I'll show you how to weave all 7 into a simple, week-by-week plan. Here's how to layer these steps without overwhelm. Week 1. Move dinner earlier by 30-60 minutes and lighten it. Add a half plate of non-starchy vegetables to each meal. Week 2. Introduce soluble fiber at breakfast and lunch, oats with flax or chia, beans at midday, and jot down protein, fiber, and meal times in a tiny notebook or phone note. Week 3. Spread protein across 3 meals. Aim for roughly 25-35 grams each. If mornings are tough, start with Greek yogurt or a small smoothie. Week 4. Begin simple carb cycling, 2 moderate carb days, 1 lower carb day, and take a 10-15 minute walk after your largest meal. Week 5. Shift to the earlier 16.8 pattern that suits your life, advancing your window earlier by 30 minutes every few days. Week 6. Fine-tune inflammatory swaps, olive or avocado oil, fewer ultra-processed foods, fermented dairy if tolerated. Throughout, keep magnesium and omega-3 rich foods in the rotation. Hydration matters here. Aim for a glass of water with each meal and 1 between meals. Sprinkle in a pinch of salt if you feel lightheaded as your body adapts, unless you maintain sodium restrictions per your clinician. Let's turn this into plates you can picture. Breakfast in an early window, oatmeal cooked in water, stirred with ground flax, topped with blueberries and a spoon of Greek yogurt, or eggs scrambled with spinach and mushrooms, plus a small side of black beans. Lunch as the hero meal. Grilled salmon over a big salad of mixed greens, tomatoes, cucumbers, olives, and chickpeas, dressed with extra virgin olive oil and lemon. Add a slice of whole grain sourdough if it's a moderate carb day. Another option. turkey chili with kidney beans alongside a citrus and avocado salad. A light, early dinner, lentil vegetable soup with a sprinkle of parmesan, or a kefir smoothie blended with berries and chia. Snacks, if needed inside your window, an apple with a tablespoon of almond butter, carrot sticks with hummus, or plain yogurt with cinnamon. Flavor does not require sugar. Try garlic, smoked paprika, chili flakes, cumin, fresh herbs, lemon zest, or vinegar. When dining out, aim for a protein-plus vegetable entree, ask for dressings and sauces on the side, and consider boxing half to enjoy at lunch the next day. Your early window best friend. Troubleshooting time. If your progress stalls for a couple of weeks, resist the urge to slash calories. First, check your timing. Is dinner creeping later? Slide it back. Are healthy snack nibbles sneaking in after your eating window? Park them inside the window. Next, fiber and protein. Are you consistently hitting both at meals? They're hunger-taming teammates. Hydration helps too. Thirst often disguises as appetite. If constipation shows up, gently add fluids, magnesium-rich foods, and a bit more soluble fiber. A teaspoon of psyllium in water can be helpful for many. Feeling tired? Salt your food to taste and ensure you're not inadvertently eating too little, especially on lower-carb days. Sleep matters. Aim for a calm wind-down and a cool, dark room. Social life counts. When dinner runs late, keep it light, savor the company, and return to your earlier pattern the next day. Traveling? Bring high-fiber snacks like roasted chickpeas or nuts, and use hotel breakfasts to front-load protein. If you manage diabetes, low blood pressure, or take medications affected by food timing, keep your care team in the loop and adjust stepwise. What about exercise? Cardio alone isn't the hero of waist reduction, but movement speeds everything you're doing with food. Here's the sweet spot for a 50-plus body. Strength training 2 to 3 times per week, using body weight, resistance bands, or light dumbbells, protects muscle, bones, and balance. Think push, pull, squat, hinge, and carry variations. A 10-15-minute walk after meals improves blood sugar handling and signals your body to use the fuel you just ate. Add gentle mobility and balance work. Heel-to-toe walks along the counter, single leg stands while brushing your teeth, or a few minutes of yoga flow. If your joints are sensitive, try water aerobics, a recumbent bike, or chair-based routines. You do not need heroic sessions. Consistency beats intensity. The point is synergy. Protein distribution plus strength work preserves the very tissue that keeps metabolism humming. Fiber plus walking smooths blood sugar and appetite. Earlier eating plus sleep supports hormones that make belly fat let go. Food timing is the lever. Movement is the amplifier. Let's talk mindset and monitoring. Perfection isn't required. Patterns are. Choose 2 or 3 simple markers and track them weekly. Waist circumference at the level of your belly button. First thing in the morning. How your clothes fit. Energy and sleep quality. Take a relaxed photo in the same outfit monthly. If you like numbers, note your average daily protein and fiber. Celebrate wins beyond the scale. An easier flight of stairs, steadier afternoons, fewer nighttime cravings. If you're a caregiver, invite your loved one into the process. Prep a pot of bean-rich soup together, take a post-lunch stroll, and keep dinner early for both of you. Build in grace for holidays and birthdays. One later dinner doesn't cancel your progress. Returning to your rhythm the next day reinforces your identity. I'm someone who front-loads meals, fuels with protein and fiber, and sleeps on an empty stomach. That identity makes choices lighter, not heavier. And if life throws a curveball, med changes, travel, stress, slide back to the first 2 steps. Earlier dinner and soluble fiber, then rebuild. Remember where we started. Hours of cardio rarely move visceral fat much for older adults without nutritional shifts. The lever is hormonal. Insulin peaks, circadian timing, muscle preservation, and the quiet chemistry of your gut. That's why surgeons often encourage patients to use earlier eating windows, higher fiber, and protein distribution before procedures, because less visceral fat makes anesthesia and recovery smoother. Can you see how our 7 steps map onto those levers? Earlier dinner and earlier 16-8 align with your clock and tame late-night insulin. Soluble fiber and carb cycling increase metabolic flexibility and satiety. Adiponectin-supportive foods tilt your internal signals toward release rather than storage. Protein at each meal guards muscle, so your resting burn rate stays youthful. In 4 to 6 weeks, many people notice a looser waistband, calmer cravings, and lighter evenings. Keep your clinician involved if you manage medical conditions, and make changes gradually, comfortably enough that you can live there. Let's recap the 7 in a sentence each so they're ready for your fridge. 1. Use an earlier 16.8 window, or simply finish dinner at least 3 hours before bed and front-load your day. 2. Feed adiponectin with magnesium and omega-3 rich foods and extra virgin olive oil, plus steady movement and good sleep. 3. Use simple carb cycling, 2 moderate carb days, 1 lower carb day, to retrain flexibility without fatigue. 4. Anchor every meal with 25-35 grams of protein to protect muscle and quiet hunger. 5. Tame inflammation by favoring minimally processed foods, olive or avocado oil, fermented dairy if tolerated, and fewer added sugars and ultra-refined grains. 6. Hit 20-30 grams of soluble rich fiber daily from beans, oats, flax, chia, fruits, and vegetables. 7. Align meals with daylight. Bigger earlier, lighter later. Stack them slowly, 1 per week, and let your routine do the heavy lifting. You'll spend less time fighting yourself and more time enjoying food, movement, and evenings that feel light. Here's how to start today. Look at your next 3 meals and make 1 tiny specific change to each. For breakfast, add soluble fiber. Stir a tablespoon of ground flax into yogurt or oatmeal. For lunch, increase protein by a palm's worth and add a 10-minute walk afterward. For dinner, move it 30 minutes earlier and make the plate half non-starchy vegetables. That's it. Tomorrow, repeat. In a few days, bring your first meal slightly earlier and your last meal slightly earlier. If you're already doing some of this, choose the next layer: protein distribution, carb cycling, or inflammatory swaps. Keep a short note in your phone with your favorite high-fiber and protein-rich staples, so grocery trips are automatic: oats, beans, frozen berries, leafy greens, Greek yogurt, eggs, canned salmon or sardines, olive oil, nuts, chia, flax. Consistency beats novelty. You don't need a brand new plan each week. You need a simple plan you can breathe inside. I'd love to hear from you. Have you tried an earlier eating window or a 16-8 aligned with your morning? Which step are you starting with this week? Soluble fiber at breakfast, protein at all 3 meals, or moving dinner earlier? Share what's worked, what's been tricky, and what small win you've noticed. Looser waist, better sleep, calmer appetite. If you're joining us as a caregiver, tell me the adjustment that's been easiest to make together. Then come back in 30 days and post your update, so our community can cheer you on and learn from your experience. You've got a complete practical system now. No punishing cardio sessions required, no perfection needed. Just the gentle power of timing, fiber, protein, and a body that still knows exactly how to heal when we give it the chance.